Chapter 6 Carvers. Monique felt one leg give out beneath her. This past winter, when she'd slogged through snowbanks, hardly able to walk, Donna had held her up, but there was no Donna here. The choir might have murdered her already. Monique would have no one to save. She stumbled, falling. Lady caught her arm. "It's okay," she said. "The worm asks a lot, I know, but you can't just leave. Someday we'll sing the real thing and pierce the universe. There will be no running then." "They killed her," Monique rasped. She wanted Lady to stop touching but couldn't pull away. Every muscle felt limp. "They killed her. We killed her." "No. She's part of it's nothing now." Hot tears flooded Monique's cheeks. She tried to swallow the burning lump in her throat. "We fed her to the empty place." "No, no." Lady smiled wide and shook her head. "Most of the universe is empty. We feel stretches of the worm, and she's with him now, and he's full and infinitesimal free." Her words smashed together and thinned like Phoebe across time, becoming nothing. Monique's stomach turned. She covered her mouth, tried to swallow again, but hot bile surged. She turned desperate eyes to Lady, who pointed at a door to the right. Monique banged through it to a tan bathroom full of stalls and sinks. She smelled cleaning product, and it only made her more nauseous. She rushed into a stall, fell to her knees, and vomited into the toilet bowl. Lady stomped into the stall from behind. "There now, you'll be fine." She grasped Monique's hair and began pulling it back. Fingers crossed the beanie's rim. "Don't touch it." Monique coughed until her throat was clear. "Just go." "Oh." Lady slipped out of the stall. She hovered near the sinks for a moment and then left the restroom. Monique faced the toilet and waited, but nothing else surged up her throat. Corinne's candy bar had been her only food in 2 days, and now it was gone to waste. For all the clawing in her gut, she couldn't stomach seeing Phoebe being torn apart. Limb from limb, as Corinne had warned. What had she already known before she led the way into this hellhole? What had happened to Phoebe could happen to anyone. One wrong night in Freedom Tunnel and the empty place might have chewed Monique the same way. What was wrong with this city? She reached up and flushed. She wished the toilet could drag Empire Music Hall down its pipes too, one little hole draining all this merry evil. If only it were that simple. She crawled off the floor and realized she had to pee too. It might have been out of fear more than any other reason, but the need came sudden and without question. She hadn't been through enough pain tonight, it seemed. Before Dr. Sam, this never used to hurt, but urinating had become a dice roll in agony ever since. Sometimes she rolled high and felt mild discomfort at worst. Other times, she rolled low. Tonight she rolled burning snake eyes. She bit her lip not to scream, but her teeth could only muffle so much. A shriek rattled up her already stinging throat. She clasped her hands tight over open lips and screamed hard into her palms. The scream didn't finish until she did. She collapsed against the back of the toilet and gasped in and out, forcing her heart to settle. It was over. She staggered out of the stall and washed her hands. The good doctor had seemed like a miracle, offering out-of-hospital surgery on the cheap. "I'm Samuel Reinhardt," he said, "but everyone calls me Dr. Sam." His smile could light the world, Monique had thought. She wondered how many storage unit surgeries he'd botched, first carving up a patient in the air of their body that was agreed upon, quicker and sloppier than they wanted, and then helping himself to a kidney, damn the consequences. If any surgeries ended up in blood-spattered disasters, no skin off his back. Pack up, move, rinse the blood off his hands, repeat. Monique had been a unique disaster. Donna had laid her on that freezing table, surrounded by concrete walls and stolen medical equipment that beeped and churned. "A couple hours," she said, her hand on Monique's cheek being the only warmth in that dim room. I'll see you then, mon amour. When Monique finally woke up, 2 days had passed in feverish nightmare. All she remembered from that time was sweat and pain. Donna later explained about Dr. Sam's side practice of selling kidneys on the black market, how she'd taken his own scalpel and turned it against him to save Monique. She'd had to call an ambulance they couldn't afford, which rushed Monique to an expensive emergency room where they only treated her botched surgery and infection until she was stable. Once she could walk, she had to go. She had hobbled alongside Donna in a New York winter midnight, icy flakes hitting her skin and melting down her hospital gown. The Salvation Army was a no-go, as always, for people like them. They ended up in the Fujianese Church of the Transfiguration in Chinatown, stepping in during midnight mass and laying along the back pews. A kind pastor invited them deeper inside to escape the cold and never asked who they were or what they were running from, but beyond that, he couldn't help them. Donna only found a homeless shelter by luck the next day. A week passed before Monique could bear to eat solid food. Her insides burned every time she relieved herself. While she could guess the damage by touch, yet another week passed before she dared look at what Dr. Sam had hacked beneath her thighs or the stitches that ran along her left side and back. He'd been an inch from taking her kidney. The emergency room medical personnel had patched her up soundly, but they weren't plastic surgeons, and it wasn't their job to make her pretty. Donna had stayed through it all, right until the shelter closed down and she disappeared. Monique had moved into Freedom Tunnel after that, discovered the empty place, and spent long days searching for Donna. And now these people had her. They were carvers, like Dr. Sam, all greedy fingers and knives in their smiles. Monique couldn't let them do to Donna what they'd done to Phoebe, and God knew how many other people, if they hadn't already. They weren't entirely delusional. The empty place was real. So was Grey Hill. Every old ghost story might be real, too. Monique could believe there was an almighty worm god who crawled through time, smashed continents, and slithered in starlight. These people were killing for that starlight, and they loved every drop of blood. At least now, Monique knew what she was dealing with. She could be ready for it, or try to be. There was no mouthwash here. She gargled sink water to clear the taste of vomit, but nothing could wash the death song out of her throat. She would always taste the piercing of the universe. Best not to show it. She needed to work these people a little more for now. She took a breath and then stepped out of the restroom. Lady was waiting. Her lips pursed in concern, her wrist crossed below the waist of her bleached jeans. All better? She asked. Monique forced her most pleasant smile. Where's the grand elevator?